I'm not law enforcement. Nobody there's no grants. I'm just a man who's outraged because I heard the truth and I'm just outraged. And I'm just not, while I'm alive, going to sit back and allow young ladies and young men to be enslaved in this way. Unfortunately, we've all met a woman who has been raped at some point. One time, and have seen the damage, rightly so, that goes along with that. I know too many of those women. But I also met a woman in Houston who had been trafficked for 4 years. She was raped 43,500 times. Do the math. Who's going to sit back and let that happen? I won't. I hope that you won't. So then, what do we do? How do we stop this? We know what the product is. We know, and I have seen, that we would have a heart for any victim of this, and we should. Let me give you a simple economic 101 lesson. If we put 10 bottles of Tide on the shelf at Walmart, and we put 10 men in the aisle to buy those 10 bottles of Tide, supply and demand are equal. There's a fixed price on the bottle of Tide. We have 10 men clearly willing to pay that price. If we, in our good-hearted ways, decide we're going to rescue 5 bottles of Tide off the shelves, which is what we all want to do. I want to do that too. But I'm not here to restore today. I'm not here to put my finger in the dam when the tidal wave's coming over the top today. What I'm here today to do is to ask you to join me in the truth and ask you to join me in ending sex trafficking. So if we rescue these 5 bottles of Tide because we think that's the right thing to do, going back to your Econ 101 and your business savvy, what happens? The 10 men create a buying frenzy for the remaining 5 bottles. The price goes up for the 5 bottles. And then the supplier will bring 7 bottles back. So now, in the end, after we've done the right thing, there'll be 12 bottles of Tide with the same 10 men still sitting there buying. Does that make sense to everybody? That's America, right? This speech doesn't work in India, but it works here. Because that's the way we operate, that's the way we think. So if it isn't going to be about the rescuing piece today, it's always going to be about that. We financed a rescue of a 5-year-old, 2 6-year-olds, a 9-year-old, a 16-year-old, and a 22-year-old in the last 18 months. So it's always about that. We don't turn our backs to that. But if you want to end it, because this is a powerful group of people in this town, you want to end it. You want to get this off the back of Charlotte. And I promise you, other cities know about this over Charlotte. It's a black cloud that can and does need to go away. So here's how it needs to happen. We men need to understand that we're the cause of it. It's a demand issue, because if I take 5 men off that aisle, then 5 bottles are going to grow dusty. And they're going to be returned home, or they're never going to be manipulated off the streets to begin with. It's really so simple, in theory. Men, I'm speaking to you. We have done a terrible job of understanding the true priceless value of women. And we have, as a culture, in this country, allowed the value of a woman to be reduced all the way down to a $60 sex act. Just let that sit for a second. I'll challenge you. If somebody comes into my family room and tries to steal my TV off my wall, I got a really nice TV, 65-inch. I like it. I will shoot you dead, and I'm legally allowed to do that. For a $1,000 TV. I'm willing to go to battle for that. But how many of you have watched something happen to a female, and in your gut, known it was wrong, and did nothing? Simply because, here's the answer. Here's why you did nothing, because I know you did nothing, and I've done nothing before. Here's why you did nothing, because you didn't recognize the priceless value of the female. Do you know, if I got the most awesome rescue dog, Molly. You know, if I put a leash on her and hook that leash to my bumper and drag her down the streets of Charlotte, it will be a felony. I also am still married to my high school sweetheart. If I put the same leash around her neck and drag her behind the same car attached to the same bumper, it's a misdemeanor. What does that say to the ladies in the room? Men? How do we value our women? Above or below dogs? Charlotte just got an incredible grant. I was very excited to hear about this, to actually process rape kits. That's the horrible thing that a woman has to go to after she's raped at the hospital. It's totally intrusive. And those kits are then put in a box, waiting to be tested so that her perpetrator can be criminalized and put away, hopefully. I'm not sure the exact cost of those rape kits, but I understand it's between $500 and $1,000. And Charlotte had a big old warehouse full of them. So much so that they had to go get a grant to start processing after these sat there for years. What does that tell a woman, any woman, that her value is? We men are doing a terrible job of stepping up and saying women are priceless. See, that's the whole deception of all this. What allows a man to think that he has the right to buy something for his own purposes that's a human being? When are we going to get that? See, the sex trafficking, I've been fighting it, and I was like, man, we can go out and kill us some traffickers, we can pass some laws, we can get the law enforcement involved, and through all those things, I really was getting nowhere. You know, Charlotte has a task force now for sex trafficking. By the way, there's 2 people on it. 2. So it's not important to anybody yet. Nobody that matters. But I hope after listening to me today, somebody's heart's going to be convicted and somebody's going to go, you know what, that's some truth right there. We can do something. We can end this. We can go to our law enforcement and say, hey, the 68